When we don't fix the holes in our ship, then we're constantly taking on water. And we can do all the healthy coping mechanisms that we want, all those healthy practices, like, the meditation, the breath work, the eating better, exercise, more water, getting in the sun, herbal remedies, journaling. We can, which are all wonderful things, but it doesn't matter how many of those practices we put in place. If we still have these big holes in our ship, those practices are basically just like taking buckets and trying to bail out the water, but you have these big holes in your ship and you can't bail out the water fast enough. It doesn't work. So where trauma healing comes in and fixes the holes in the ship, so that now when a little bit of water comes in, when you're, riding the storms of life and a little bit sloshes over the banisters, the exterior edges of the boat, and then comes onto the boards of the boat, the coping mechanisms just help with that to, wipe the water away. Or you can think of the coping mechanisms as making the ride more enjoyable, more luxurious, some added extras to make it a little bit better. But you're not taking on that water and sinking your ship constantly, basically up against the odds, because you've patched up the holes and you're not going down, sinking. So that if you're feeling like you're stuck, no matter how many coping mechanisms and better things you try in your life, you just don't feel like your symptoms are improving. You're still just as anxious. You still can't sleep at night. You're unable to, whatever it is that you're trying to heal, perhaps it's because you're just working on those external symptoms and not looking at the underlying reasons. You're not looking at the big holes in your ship, and you're I guess I want to say almost wasting your energy, because, if you have those giant holes in your ship, you can't bail out the water fast enough. You're just going to make yourself exhausted, but it's not going to really do anything. So if that's where you're at, feel free to reach out. I'd love to chat with you. There is hope. Healing is possible. I've been there. I was so frustrated. I didn't understand. I was trying so hard, trying all these practices to heal, to make things better, and it wasn't working until I realized where it was stemming from. Those deep-seated traumas that I didn't want to look at. Those things that happened to me in childhood that I was holding on to, that shame, that fear, until I went in and took a really hard look at all of that and was willing to look at that pain. I wasn't able to patch up the holes in my ship, and things weren't able to get better until that happened. You're not alone. It does take courage to do that. But you've got this. You know what you need to do to heal. Trust yourself. Stop listening to what everyone else says you need to do, and be willing to stop and really listen to what your body is telling you. If you listen, it'll tell you. Much love and night, friends.